Good evening, everyone. This is Ronnie of Gweed TV. Gweed TV is going to be about um, just information, conversation, everyday life, just my perspective. Not that I'm out here trying to push it off as I know everything, just my very own perspective of what's going on in the world and my perspective on it. From going to range a variety of topics. Going to range from relationships, ups and downs of relationships, do's and don'ts, my opinions, goods and bads, what it takes to have a good, strong relationship, my opinion of how kids should be raised or society in itself, that stuff like that. But today we're going to talk about relationships. The first thing I want to talk about is what I think personally take to have a good, strong relationship with you and your spouse, you and your significant other. From my personal experiences, realizing that the battles or the arguments should be considered as battles, in my opinion, because in each argument, each people say things that could be considered shouldn't be considered, but most times they simply is hurtful, and probably sometimes untrue. So I consider those as battles. So the first thing I would consider, you want to mind your battles. Don't pick your battles. Don't argue just to argue. Don't throw words just to throw words. And be mindful the words that you throw, just because you made up, doesn't mean the words wasn't said. The damage might already been done, depending on how hurtful the words are. Depends on how damaged the person already are, in my opinion. So definitely mind the battles or the arguments. Pick them. Don't argue just to argue or to prove a point. You're going to be impossibly arguing all the time. And men and women argue differently anyway, in my opinion. So in my opinion, men argue with logic. In my opinion, we argue with logic, emotional logic as well. But in my opinion, women argue with emotion, very much emotional in most cases. Not that men don't be emotional in their arguments, but nevertheless, in my opinion, it boils down to just managing, trying to keep all arguments down to a minimum, and at the least as possible. Not only that, if you don't mind your arguments, in my opinion, they'll eventually turn into a war, and I consider that would be a divorce. In my opinion, when that happens, normally people have grown apart. One don't value the other. They don't value each other, shall I say. The value of the relationship itself is gone, has deteriorated. Normally, that's what it is. Probably lost the respect. It's a variety of things why people get divorced. Then you wonder what keep people together. It can't be money, because you see millionaires and billionaires getting a divorce consistently. You know, what does it take? Is it religion? You see a lot of religion people that believe in the Lord, that's Christian. You see them getting divorced as well. So it can't be one certain thing that makes a good, strong marriage or a good, strong relationship. But I definitely think honesty and open communication is definitely at the forefront. Because if you can't have open, honest communication, then what do you really have other than a bunch of confusion, lies, and trickery and deceit, unhappiness, and so forth and so on. So, like I say, mind your battles, pick your battles, mind your words. Even if you are arguing, mind your words. I would strongly suggest that you don't just blurt out anything that can be deemed detrimental to your relationship, because most times that's what we do when we argue. Men and women, hurl out certain things that, you can't take back once we yell them out. Once all the emotions is gone, and once all the smoke is settled. And most times we arguing over miscommunications anyway, or someone's in their feelings anyway, or like I say, a simple misunderstanding, or someone just having a bad day. It's a variety of reasons why we argue. Unfortunately, sometimes some people just are argumentative. That's how relationships go. Depends on what kind of relationship you're in. So those are just a couple of pointers I think. Mind your battles, watch what you say. Don't say hurtful things consistently. Well, don't say hurtful things if you can avoid them altogether, especially consistently. Admit you're wrong. I also think that relationships can go south when people can't admit they're wrong and when they compete against each other. I've seen relationships where the husband's wife, they are competing. I have A and I have this and I have that, and that's the oddest thing to me. I thought it was a unit or a team. And that's definitely a key component as well. You have to walk together. You have to be a unit. You know, if she win, I win. If I win, she win. That's just the common logic of it. That's marriage 101 as far as I'm concerned. So men, I would say, are charged with a hard task in the relationship. Not that women are not tasked with a hard task, but men are definitely one. How we are designed, or how we supposed to love our women, love, dedicate, devote. We don't always get it right, but when we do get it right, I think it should be considered, noble, I guess. But love is a strange thing. It is the most powerful emotion, as far as I'm concerned, in the world. And if love itself is misplaced, it can be extremely dangerous. But there's a way to love. There's different things that you can do to prove your love. I think that's what we as men strive to do. Real men try to prove our love in different ways to our women. Oftentimes we, like I say, don't necessarily succeed, but that doesn't mean that don't be trying. But one of the things that I feel like that we as men have to do, admit our wrong when we are wrong as far as a relationship goes. You all right?
What?
I'm just checking on you. How long was that? It's still going on? My bad. I should have moved it. All right, let's see. What else I want to talk about? Let's see, relationships, wrongs, arguments, battles, picking your battles. Adding Christianity, not necessarily adding Christianity, adding the Lord into your relationship. That's one of the keys that I personally am big on. That's my number one thing. I think all real men should have a leader, have someone they is following, such as a higher power, God, Jesus. That's my personal belief. So that's my go-to. So that's what I go by. I feel like if you want to be a good leader, you have to be able to follow and follow the Lord. And that doesn't necessarily mean you have to be perfect or a quote-unquote Bible thumper or a religious freak or whatever some folks might want to call it. But it does mean have some sense of structure, some sense of loyalty, or some sense of respect, some sense of responsibility, if you will. I feel like religion or Christianity or following the Lord or gives all that kind of stuff as far as discipline and so forth and so on. So I definitely think that's at the top of the list as well. Let's see. They have a variety of topics that's going on in the Word today. I'm going to visit a few topics in time to come. Money topics, that's a big thing in relationships. It can definitely kill a relationship. Grown folks business, also known as sex is what I call it, it definitely is important, key factor in the relationships. What else? Outside influences, whether it's let's see, in-laws, ex-laws, outlaws, what you want to call them. They definitely can be considered a big influence or a big downfall in some marriage and relationship, because sometimes people allow them to influence it and they be all intertwined. So it's a different variety of things that can get into a relationship, cause it to fail. So, like I say, I'm going to visit a variety of topics when later on in times past, I got it all crossed up in the future. That's what I'm going to do. Let's see what else I'm going to want to talk about in the future. I also want to talk about God and weed. We're not going to make a whole big old subject about it, but whether or not I think weed is in the Bible, whether or not I think weed is good or beneficial, or whether or not I think it's could or should be smoked, whether or not it's anti-Jesus, if you will, because some certain people, I'm sure they are anti medical marijuana, or yeah, I guess I gotta say medical marijuana, because I don't say medical marijuana on that thing. I'm talking about regular weed. Nevertheless, yeah, that's also gonna be on TV. And that's one of the reason of the topic. Weed TV is gonna be God and weed. Well, God and weed. Never mind that explanation. It's gonna be God and weed. Yeah, that's what it is. God and weed mixed together. Weed TV. It's gonna be tailored around reaping what you sow. That's gonna be my theme of it. Weed TV, reaping what you sow. Which in terms of purpose of that, it covers everybody. You can't plant good and get back bad. You can't plant bad and get back good. And you can't plant oranges and get back apples. You literally reap what you sow. So that's food for thought for everybody that's reaping what they think they're reaping and getting what they think they're sowing. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Stuff like that. We're going to figure out what sowing mean and reaping mean and all that other good stuff. We're going to talk about faith, Jesus, the Bible. We're going to talk about, let's see, getting to heaven. Let's see. Also, strange thing today. No, that never mind. I covered on another subject. I covered it on another topic, another time, and tell you about the incident about somebody told me about Jesus got two daddies or something they talking about on TV. They said something. Wow. They came to my house. They wasn't Jehovah's Witness, but it was somebody. They said Jesus got two mamas or something. They did. They said Jesus got two mamas. They said he got a lit mama. Mary was the lit mama. And they got another big mama. They did. They said Mary was the lit mama. What they said. With the lit mama. She had the quote unquote Jesus. Then they say he got a big mama. They say she Asian.